Folks, again, we have another new arrival here at ClassicMusclecars.com, and some of you are viewing it on our internet site, ClassicMusclecars.com, or MuscleCarClub.com, or ClassicMusclecars.com TV. Now, this is a car that we need to talk a little bit about because I want to give you a little bit of background. In the 60s and the early 70s, in the heyday of the muscle cars, this was one of the cars that was a legend on the street, the Roadrunner. When the Roadrunner came out in 1968, it was an offspin of Warner Brothers' Wile E. Coyote and the Roadrunner. Now, this car is one of the last Roadrunners built in 1980. 1980 was the last year for the Roadrunner. If you're familiar with a little bit of history about what was happening with Chrysler, Chrysler was almost defunct. It was almost completely gone. In 1979, Lee Iacocca went to the government and secured some governmental loans to be able to help bail out Chrysler to get the capital it needed to retool. After 1980, they started making some new cars and better cars, and we had went through the gas crisis of the mid to the late 70s, and a lot of the car manufacturers were trying to make cars with lighter steel and better fuel economy, but yet they still wanted to try to get something with a V8 in it that would be a performance car. This car was built with a 318. Now, there was only 496 final Roadrunners built in 1980. I would say today there's probably less than 50, maybe less than 40. One of the biggest reasons why for this is that, one, it was a low production, and two, the steel that was used for all the major manufacturers back in the mid-70s to the early 80s was light gauge steel. It was also recycled steel. They were trying to keep the cost down. They were trying to keep the weight down in the cars. And because of that, a lot of these cars just disintegrated. We've talked to factory workers that said the cars were actually rusting when they got them rolled off the assembly line and put them outside. That's how quickly some of the cars started to rust. And if any of you bought a car back in the 70s and the early 80s, you were just like turned off by what kind of quality you were getting. It took a while for all the major manufacturers to turn that around. Chrysler was one of the leaders at the time under the leadership of Lee Iacocca, who got a shot in the arm by the U.S. government when the government backed up Chrysler to be able to turn that company around. So this is last of a legend, folks. Now, this particular car is extremely rare because it's a TX9 code, which means it's black. Now, you're looking at an unrestored original car. I can't tell you how hard that is to find. Number one, unrestored, but number two, to find one of these that's still around that's an unrestored original car. This car's got 34,000 miles on it. Now, yep, that's right. You heard me right. 34,000 original miles. It's an unbelievably hard car to even find if you were looking for one. But now, let's think about it. It's the last of a legend. What does that mean in terms of what this car is worth? Well, I'll tell you. 5 years from now, this is 100% return on the money that we're going to sell it for. You need to give Randy a call at 847-526-5950. This is an incredible opportunity to buy a piece of muscle car history. 1980 Roadrunner.
1980 Roadrunner. The last of its kind. Let's go for a walk around. I've popped the hood already. Let's take a look underneath. Remember, this is an unrestored car. It's got a nice 318 quad, power steering, power brakes. In fine shape. Looking nice. Now we'll close it up. In the back. Taillight lens, both sides, in good condition. Dual exhaust trumpets coming out the back. Looking nice. Once more around and we'll take a look on the inside. And on the inside, check out the back seat first. Got a pair of 6x9s in the back deck. The back seat's looking very nice. Incredible for 1980. It's got a plush headliner, and that's in excellent condition. The dome light is a functional thing. I've put the plush. And this beautiful 1980 Roadrunner, last of a kind, black, brought to you by ClassicMuscleCars.com.